You're way too beautiful, girl. That's why it'll never work. You got me suicidal, suicidal. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. You know why I'm gonna start the video off singing "You're Way Too Beautiful, Girl"? Because if you were around in the time when Sean Kingston dropped "You're Way Too Beautiful, Girl," this song was on every radio station. It was played constantly. Like if you went in the car 10 times for the day, that song would have played the 10 times you went in the car for the day. If you were in your car on a road trip, that car would have played 10 times before you got to your destination. That song was huge. And from that song, I will say this. A lot of people deliver music today, artists, they can only hope that one of their songs will ever be as big as "You're Way Too Beautiful, Girl." And I say all that because that was at the height of Sean Kingston's career. I'm talking about a high that many dream of but never accomplish. Now, this right here, this seems like a low, a super low. Sean Kingston, who is 34 years old, and his mother, who is 61 years old, are now indicted on federal charges in a $1 million fraud scheme. This is 1 month after Sean Kingston was released from jail on a $100,000 bail, and his mama was also released from jail on bail as well. A lot of us were thinking that would have been it. He said his lawyers were working on it. His attorneys said they were sure that everything would be worked out behind the scenes. But it seems like things only got more serious. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw the video and song with Sean Kingston and NBA YoungBoy. Let me plug that video real quick. Sean Kingston is very much still involved in the music world. And he had a huge song with NBA YoungBoy. NBA YoungBoy is currently caught up himself in his own troubles, which we'll talk about another time on another video. Now, what the news says, it says Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, or Janice Turner, they have been indicted in South Florida on federal charges of committing more than $1 million worth of fraud. A federal indictment is something very different. Listen, it's one thing to be charged for something, but when you are federally indicted, you know the feds don't miss. Just don't take my word for it. Just go and Google and look up the feds' conviction rate. That's all I'm saying. I'm starting to think somebody is going to have to pay in this situation. I don't know if it's going to be Sean or if it's going to be his mom. I don't know if Janice Turner wants to be going to prison at 61 years old, but I don't know if she wants to see her son going to prison as well. The way she babies and loves Sean, it would break her down for her to have to sit out here knowing he is in prison. But I can't speak on their behalf. If the feds decide that both of them are going to do time, then damn it, man. Anyways, the information says that the rapper, who was 34 years old, who was released from jail on a $100,000 bail last month in June after his arrest on fraud and theft charges, and his mother, 61-year-old, made their first appearance on Friday in a federal court. This is according to recently released court documents. Today is July 20th. I'm bringing this information to you. A Miami grand jury returned an indictment earlier this month accusing Kingston and his mother of participating in a scheme to defraud victims of high-end specialty vehicles, jewelry, and other goods through the use of fraudulent documents. This is what they've come up with. Sean Kingston was booked. So before what we saw before, what we reported on before, when he was out in California and he was arrested there, and his mom was arrested at the mansion in Florida, and the house was raided. Those were theft charges. Those were just regular theft charges. This has turned now into a federal indictment. Sean Kingston was booked into the Broward County Jail on similar state charges on May 23rd. After he was arrested at Fort Irwin, which is an Army training base in California's Mojave Desert, where he was booked to perform there. I believe they waited until Sean was finished performing, and then they took him away in handcuffs. He was also extradited back to the state of Florida, where he was held at the Broward County Jail, the same jail where Wayne W. Melly is being held at on double murder charges for killing his two friends. But that's a whole nother story. Let's stick with the Sean Kingston story. So Turner, who was his mom, she was arrested the same day as her son was, just in two separate states, when a SWAT team raided his rented mansion in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I know a lot of people are saying rented mansion. Why would you rent a mansion? If you got money to rent a mansion, that means you can actually afford to buy one, right? And you know, we brainstormed over all that. A lot of us were shocked that the mansion was rented. Some people are saying he's living above and beyond his means. Other people are saying maybe it's a wise decision to actually rent the mansion. Reason being, if you owe a lot of people stuff and they come after you, they can come after you for monies owed, but when the feds come and they start taking away your stuff, liquidating your assets to pay off these debts, you will never be homeless. You and your landlord are always cool, and you always have the rent. Your landlord don't give a damn about all the other stuff you got to pay for outside of that. So as long as you can pay the rent for the mansion, you will continue to live in a mansion. If that mansion is owned, though, and you have these outstanding balances of $160,000, $400,000, the feds might seize your mansion and then sell your mansion in order to pay your bills. I'm just trying to give you all some insights into the reason why that mansion might be rented. Another person said to me, yo, SouFlo, listen, if y'all think Sean Kingston is broke, y'all are crazy. Just the fact that that mansion is about $30,000 every 30 days tells me that money is being generated, but something is funny and we can't figure out what it is. I'm not the feds, so I'm not trying to figure out what it is either. I just know that I could not afford $30,000 worth of rent every 30 days, so I'm not even in that financial category, right? According to the federal indictment, though, Sean Kingston and his mama, they falsely claimed that they had executed bank wire or other monetary payment transfers for high-end items when no such transfers had been taken place. Let me say it again. According to the federal indictment, this new federal indictment, Sean Kingston and his mom falsely claimed that they had executed bank wire or other monetary payment transfers for high-end items when no such transfers had taken place. Investigators said that Sean Kingston and his mom, they then kept over $1 million worth of fraudulently purchased items despite not paying for them. Damn. Now, the warrant for the state charges says that from October to March, they stole almost $500,000 worth in jewelry. And from October to March, they stole more than $200,000 from Bank of America. And they stole another $160,000 from a Cadillac Escalade dealer and they stole more than $100,000 from First Republic Bank and another $86,000 from the maker of a customized bed. God damn. I'm saying, what you want with the $86,000 bed? Huh? I mean, Sealy Posturepedic. I'm going down to the mattress store. I'm sure I could get me a king-size bed for about $1,500, $2,000, $2,500. $86,000 though? The Jamaican-American performer had a #1 hit with Beautiful Girls in 2007 and collaborated with Justin Bieber on the song Eeny Meeny. 2007 was his year, and a few years after that were all his years. That one song, Beautiful Girls, took Sean Kingston on a tour around the world and made him a household name in the United States of America and in other places around the world. I know a lot of people are saying today, well, he don't have no hot songs today. Well, you know what? No artist stays hot forever. However, the legacy is solidified, as in what they accomplished before cannot be taken away. It cannot be erased. It was a time to be alive, and you had to be there to witness it. Believe me when I tell you, Sean Kingston was huge. Not huge in body structure, huge as in he really became a star. It's funny how overseas media, though, calls him the Jamaican American performer. They don't call him an American performer. He is called a Jamaican American, right? Robert Rosenblatt. This is the attorney for Sean Kingston and his mother. He this time did not immediately respond to a message seeking comments from the Associated Press and other news media entities. Of course, they're reaching out to the lawyer trying to figure out what's going on. Do y'all have this under control? Is Sean Kingston and his mom going to prison? How many years are they facing? He's not answering. But he previously said that they had looked forward to addressing the charges and that he was confident of a successful resolution. Well, that's before they decided to federally indict them. So the only successful resolution now, they will have to go through a court system and they will have to go through a trial. Sean Kingston, whose legal name is Keshawn Anderson, he was already serving a 2-year probation sentence for trafficking stolen property. His mother, on the other hand, she had pleaded guilty in 2006 to bank fraud for stealing over $160,000. And she actually served almost a year and a half in prison for that, according to federal court records. Now, with Sean Kingston being on probation actively and his mama having a prior conviction, this does not look good. This kind of sets them up for failure. It kind of makes them look in the eyes of the justice system that these are just people who are up to their same old con games, right? Late last month in May, Sean Kingston was accused of defrauding as much as $1 million from several businesses, including a jeweler and an exotic car dealership. Prosecutors claim that Sean and his mother, Janice, they committed more than $1 million worth of fraud in recent months, stealing money, stealing jewelry, stealing a Cadillac Escalade, a vehicle, and stealing expensive furnitures. This is all in documents that were released at the time. The mother and the son, they were charged with conducting an organized scheme to defraud grand theft, identity theft, and other related crimes. This is according to arrest warrants that were released by the Broward County Sheriff's Office. The two were arrested after the SWAT team raided Sean Kingston's rented mansion in the suburbs of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Turner, his mom, was arrested in that raid. Now, while Sean Kingston was arrested in Fort Irwin, an Army training base in California in the Mojave Desert where he was performing, according to the arrest warrant, they are charged with a total of 10 counts related to that raid. 10 counts related to that raid, plus this federal indictment. Sean Kingston was held at a California jail awaiting his return to Florida. If you remember, I told you already, he waived his right, his extradition. He didn't want to challenge it. He was just like, go ahead and extradite me. So Robert Rosenblatt, his attorney for Sean Kingston and his mother, said that Sean would return voluntarily if allowed, which they were trying to save him some embarrassment, right? Let's not transfer him like he's a fugitive who you caught. He didn't murder anybody. If you tell him to be in Florida by this date and to show up to this location, he'll do it, is what his attorney was trying to say. But they said, nope, we're dragging him. We're not taking no chances. So they literally flew him like a fugitive that was captured under secured means and transferred him back to the state of Florida and then put him in jail and then set bail. This could have saved the state all the expenses of extradition and the cost of travel for the detectives that were required to accompany Sean Kingston on this trip. But I guess the feds are saying, we don't care about the cost, we'll spend it. He was released then on a $160,000 bond. Now, last month, it was revealed that Sean Kingston was released from jail on $160,000 bail, and he was also forced to give up his passport and to give up any firearms that he owns or held. So he is not to be in possession of a firearm, and he is not supposed to be in possession of any travel documents. That's kind of dangerous. You can't move around and you can't protect yourself. Now, the rapper also, with Sean Kingston, also released a statement at the time on social media that said, it's great to be home, right? A special thanks to God, my family, my friends, and my legal team. And then Sean continued by adding and saying, and I cannot forget about my amazing fans. Thank you for all your love and support. I love you guys. Now, a little backstory. In the late 2000s, Sean Kingston was one of the biggest names in hip-hop, thanks to his collaboration with Justin Bieber, but thanks to his Beautiful Girl song First, and Nicki Minaj. Not to mention his smash hit, right? Beautiful Girls. But his star seems to have fallen somewhat since when he's been without a major label deal in more than a decade. He's been working, he's been doing things in the industry, but no major labels have picked him up. Or maybe it's his choice to not be with a major label. Nowadays, there are a lot of artists who are choosing to go independent. Sean got into the industry. He made some connections on the inside of the industry. He's been in it for a while now, since he was a young teenager. So he understands now how the record contracts work and how the music industry works, how the royalties go, how the points on records and all that stuff goes. So he probably doesn't want to get robbed. And in the process of not wanting to get robbed and not signing to a big label, you can make money independently by yourself, enough to be able to pay a $30,000 a month rent on a mansion in Fort Lauderdale. I'm just saying. Now, in 2022, album Road to Deliverance, he dropped an album in 2022 called Road to Deliverance, and that album actually failed to make it to the charts. Well, that seemed like it was the start of the downhill slide. Sean Kingston was born Keshawn Paul Anderson in Miami in 1990. A lot of people are saying he was born in Jamaica, and that is why a lot of news media houses in the US refer to him as a Jamaican American artist. He's actually born in Miami, Florida. In his youth days, he moved with his family to Jamaica before he returned back to Florida in his teenage years for high school. That's how his backstory goes. Now, a lot of people don't know it, but Sean Kingston is reggae music royalty because of who his grandfather is. And you can go look up Sean Kingston's grandfather, Jack Ruby, and you will see that his grandfather did huge things and was a monumental part, instrumental part of reggae music and bringing reggae music to the forefront of the world. And that's where his lineage comes from. He was seriously injured in 2011 when he was riding on a jet ski with a woman, and the jet ski actually crashed into a bridge. Now, he was rushed to a local hospital, and it is reported that he was actually in critical condition, and he actually spent 11 days in treatment. During that stay at the hospital, doctors discovered that Sean Kingston had suffered a torn aorta, which required emergency surgery. And he later said that the procedure saved his life. In the aftermath of all that, though, Sean Kingston was required to pay a $180 fine as he was accused of carelessness while driving the jet ski. Now, if you realized or noticed, when Sean Kingston got picked up from the being released from the Broward County Jail after he was extradited from California, he got picked up in a Maybach, a very expensive car. And for the people who are saying you're broke, you can't be broke and be owning a Maybach. So one of the reporters, I don't know if they were trying to be funny or if they were just trying to do their job as a reporter. There's a thin line there. But they asked him, "Hey, Sean, whose Maybach is this? Is it rented?" And he was like, "Do your research. I own it." Right? And then the car sped off into the night. And then he was seen hours later in a new daylight as he was outside on his front porch with his iPad, connecting with people, just glad to be home and all that other stuff. Rumor has it that between him and his mom, this new federal indictment, they are looking at 20 years. 20 years. Now, I don't think they'll give them 20 years, but any time behind bars is a bad time. So even if they end up with 2, 3, 4, 5, that's still a lot of years. And also, it will probably solidify the downfall of somebody who was once riding really high in the entertainment industry. Somebody says, "Welcome to the big house, mother and son." Another person says, "Somebody please call 911. Another person said, "Yo, this is just greed, pure greed that got him and his mom right here." I'm reading a couple of comments for you. And then Tell It How It Is from Birmingham, United Kingdom says, "Wow, this is shocking. How did he even get here? He was doing so good. How did he get here?" GJ says, "Mama, where did your hair go?" As you can see, his mom has something going on with her hair. And a lot of people are making a lot of fun of her about that. So she wears a weave, obviously, or a wig when she's out in public, right? Another person says, "When crime is a family business, this is usually the outcome." Majestad Negra says, "Not trying to justify their actions, I'm not sure how old he was when he first realized when he first released music. Late teens, early 20s. No one prepares these people for life after their success. Everyone wants to be around when you're riding high on a hog, but when you fall or when the success dries up, that's when reality sets in. If you don't have any money saved and you hadn't invested properly, some people are trying to relive those glory days or trying to stay in the spotlight, so to speak, show people that I might have had only one hit back in 2007, but I'm still getting big checks off my one hit. So I'm still relevant. Kind of like keeping up appearance kind of thing. I still live in a mansion. I still drive in a Maybach, etc., etc. When what this person is suggesting is that it's not music money that's paying for all that. It looks like it's fraud and scamming money that's actually paying for all that. The voice of reason 72 says that, well, that career is finished, moves right into fraud with his mommy. And another person from Hollywood says they don't allow weaves in jail. In other words, is she not going to be able to wear a weave? Is that how she's going to walk around looking? Somebody else says, please stop saying he's a rapper. You're way too beautiful, girl. None of his songs is about him rapping. He's more of a singer. I'm not going to argue with all that. And the last person says he is going to be singing his ass off in prison sometime soon. Well, I'm not wishing that for him, and I hope that's not the end of this story where it ends in him and his mama going to prison, but may the chips fall where they may. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.